Hey, hello everyone, what's up guys? And for the first time in these videos I'm gonna show you something really spectacular and in my personal opinion, but I'm gonna tell you who else actually thinks the same. It's absolutely and the most beautiful study ever made. A few months ago on Twitter, I actually checked one of the tweets made by X, and in my opinion, one of the best world champions of all times, Garry Kasparov. So Kasparov just made this diagram and said, could you find the win for white? Then I briefly looked at the position, realized that the pawn on d7 was about to fall. But okay, it was white's turn, and white has to make a move and, believe it or not, to win the game. If you really want to recognize the beauty of this position, you shouldn't look at solution of this video right away, but for example you should take like an hour or two trying to figure out all the tricks and all the major points of this position in order to at least somehow recognize the winning idea for white. Kasparov made a puzzle, published it out, and said, in my personal opinion, the most beautiful chess study ever made. I also have to say that I really like it a lot. And right now, pause the video, check it out for like, I don't know, half an hour, 2 hours, maybe even more than that. Because this is the only way you can actually realize the beauty of the following position. I'm about to show you solution, and take a look at this one. It's Seletsky who made this study. First move is, believe it or not, Queen G5. Whoever came up with the Queen G5, congratulations guys. When the queen comes on G5, you would like to push your pawn to D8 in order to promote the queen. So they don't have many possibilities here, but since you can't stop, and the only way is to take on d7 unless they just make a king e6, which is the main line. If bishop d7, you just go with a fairly simple knight f4, and they can't stop both bishop h5 and bishop c4. Of course, in this case, bishop h5 wins the game because king is in mating net. So it's more like bishop h5 than bishop c4. Then another thing is that after queen g5, black simply has to go with the king e6. Actually, the real point of the following study and solution is behind this move. Because they go king e6, they give you check, and you gotta figure out the point where to move your king. Should you put it on e3, e1? Should you close your, and defend your king with the knight f4? All these things you just have to calculate while you solve the study. King g1 is the move, and it's very important that the knight here covers all these checks. If they once again take by bishop, you give check, king f7. If king d6, queen c5 is a nice mating net. If king f7, you just go knight e5, king e8, and bishop h5 is literally almost checkmate. Otherwise, they're just losing the queen. So after king g1, black has to take by king. Can you imagine? While you try to solve this solution, you have to visualize all these things and to find this. But you know what? For example, I know one very interesting example. I was told that Mamedyarov, before his tournaments, he actually tries to solve problems and studies. That's how he improves his calculating skills and works on his creativity. He's known as one of the most creative players in the world. And this is a great solution for you to improve your calculating skills, but at the same time to see some really unusual and at the same time beautiful things. Next move after this is knight c5 check. So after knight c5, king c7 doesn't work because of knight e6, and it's fork. Queen is gone. King e8 doesn't work because it's bishop h5, and it's once again mating net with these pieces. King d6 doesn't seem to be working because beautiful queen g3 shows the symmetry of this position. So when they take, you just go queen a3 and win the queen on f8. And that literally means that I have to go with the king on c8. When they go with this king on c8, you just go with bishop e6. For example, can you imagine? You find first 3 moves, and now you just have to decide between bishop g4, that looks very logical, and this counterintuitive bishop a6. Why counterintuitive? Because when they play king b8, of course, king c7, you once again have this fork to win the queen. So after king b8, the real point of the study comes now. You have to go with queen g3 check, and after king a8, if the bishop was on g4, you wouldn't have any threats. But since the bishop is on a6, now you have this beautiful pattern to close and to kind of force these pieces to be, like to surround the king on a8. So after bishop b7, you go knight d7, and now you realize why the king stands on g1 and why can't he go with a queen c5 check or any other check. If the king was on e3 or e1, there are like so many checks. So whether you place your queen on e8, d8, or whatever, but actually you threaten knight b6 checkmate here. So the queen has to go on d8. This could be a nice solution for all of you, and the questions. A question for all of you. What is white supposed to play here? And the last and the final move of the study is a real beauty. Queen b8, sacking the queen, and after queen b8, smothered mate knight b6. Guys, hope you enjoyed this Seletsky study. I was really amazed with the quality of this solution in the final position. And just like I told you, I realized about this one once when Gary Kasparov tweeted about this one, and it's really one of my most favorite studies so far. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.